police were monitoring Oregon anti-pipeline activists doing work against the Jordan Cove project. This monitoring was revealed in emails among members of the Southwestern Oregon Joint Task Force. Monitoring included collection of social media posts and emails. Portland police officer Andrew Hurst emailed them saying, "If we hear anything about our people," meaning Portland activists, "heading down to your area, we'll let you know." Andrew Hurst was one of the officers who killed Quinice Hayes in 2017 and Merle Hatch in 2013. In another email, Portland Joint Terrorism Task Force, JTTF, offered training on how to track individuals online without leaving digital fingerprints. Oregon has an anti-profiling law, ORS 181A-250, that prohibits collecting or maintaining information about political activities unless it relates to a criminal investigation. This surveillance was illegal under Oregon law. This image shows a plane owned by Washington County circling downtown Portland on the day of the anti-fascist demonstrations. The Portland police also have two small planes. What are these planes doing? Sometimes planes are used to carry Stingray surveillance devices. A Stingray mimics a cell phone tower to capture information on cell phones in the area, including cell phone ID, location, and information on calls. In 2015, Police Captain Mark Kruger, infamous for building a shrine to World War II Nazi soldiers, acknowledged officers may have access to Stingray devices. In 2017, the D.C. Court of Appeals ruled that warrantless use of the Stingray violates Fourth Amendment privacy rights. Portland police have arrested 15 people since the demonstrations, most of them likely anti-fascists. Arrests included this threat by an officer using an automatic pepper ball gun. We are under surveillance and under threat of attack by law enforcement even while we do lawful things, like protesting environmental destruction or protesting fascist organizing. In 2018, Portland police killed 6 people. They have killed 53 people since 2010. They are shielded from accountability for this level of violence by the Portland police contract. We need to understand the rise of police power, and we can do that by looking at historical examples. Before the Italian fascists came to power in the early 1920s, they were urban gangs in the north of Italy. In the next border province of Venetia, Giulia, they used a racist strategy called border fascism to organize. They violently attacked and destroyed Slavic and socialist civic organizations in the region and demanded everyone speak Italian only. This violence was a recruiting tool that gave the squads common purpose. The goal of border fascism became national policy when the fascists gained power, and the illegal violence of the squads seamlessly became the everyday violence of the fascist police state. I recommend this book, Ordinary Violence in Mussolini's Italy, for understanding how fascism is rising in the U.S. today. The United States also has its border fascism. The Tohono Nation reservation crosses the border between the U.S. and Mexico. Customs and Border Protection has contracted Elbit Systems to provide a border control system. Elbit is an Israeli company that built surveillance and border control systems for the West Bank and Gaza. The system is being sold as being field-proven on Palestinians. The system will have 10 surveillance towers. These record all motion, use artificial intelligence to identify objects, and can play back recordings. Command centers can call out further surveillance using drones, such as these Predators. Stretching and testing police state powers on the minorities and border regions fits the pattern of the development of a fascist police state. Could U.S. border fascism lead to a full police state? In a yearly poll, Gallup asks Americans how much confidence they have in their institutions. The net positive score shown here is the positive minus the negative responses. In the poll, confidence in Congress was negative 37%. Confidence in labor was 1%. Confidence in the police was 40%. Confidence in the military was 70%. In a crisis, who are Americans going to trust? The police and the military. This is the profile of a police state. William Binney, former technical director at the NSA and now whistleblower, described the NSA's capabilities by saying, "We are that far from a turnkey totalitarian state. A turnkey project is one that is ready to run without modification just by turning a key." The NSA's surveillance program was justified as a tool against international terrorism, but Binney has said that the primary use of the NSA's data today is domestic law enforcement. The NSA shares data with the FBI and law enforcement, even when the collection of that data on Americans was illegal. If law enforcement wants to use that data for prosecutions, they use a process called parallel construction to create a plausible story of how the data could have been collected legally and then use that story in court. Binney has called this use of mass surveillance a police state. The surveillance reach of the NSA is well known since the release of documents by Edward Snowden. As a reminder, here's an NSA slide on the PRISM surveillance program. Who does the NSA tap? Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Skype, Apple. What data do they collect? Email, chat, video, stored data, social networking detail. U.S. law enforcement databases are integrated by data sharing from the local to the federal level. In Portland, law enforcement uses the region database and the LEDS database. These share data to the regional links database, which is in Seattle, which in turn shares data to the Law Enforcement National Data Exchange, NDEX. NDEX can be accessed by ICE and the FBI. Federal databases may contain information that contain immigration status information. At the JTTF hearings, Commissioner Fritz raised the point that when Portland officers work with the JTF, they have access to information that would violate Oregon's anti-profile laws. She asked how Portland officers are walled off. The supervisor of the International Terrorism Squad in Portland could only say, they know not to look. Those are the government databases. Law enforcement today also relies heavily on commercial databases. Portland Police, like many police agencies, have automated license plate readers mounted on cars. Vigilance Solutions runs a national database of automated license plate reader data collected by over 1,000 law enforcement agencies. Vigilance Solutions has data sharing agreements with ICE. Vigilance Solutions says that license plate data is anonymous. However, another company, Palantir, has a search engine that connects individuals with license plates. ICE also has a Palantir contract. The ACLU obtained ICE search records and found that ICE agents use license plate data to track the daily movements of suspects. And they also conduct searches on the families of suspects, on U.S. citizens, and conduct searches which the ACLU calls vague and arbitrary. A police state needs institutional integration. The Domestic Security Alliance Council, DSA, is a strategic partnership between the FBI and over 200 of the largest American companies, which altogether account for over 1/3 of U.S. GDP. During the Occupy Wall Street crackdown, the FBI coordinated infiltration, military intelligence, joint terrorism task force surveillance, information fusion centers, and private security firms hired by banks to target protest leaders through DSA. Of course, a police state needs a national ID system. Papers, please. After October 2020, Oregon driver's licenses will no longer be valid for air travel. The mandates of the Real ID Act of 2005 come into effect next year. The Real ID compliant IDs will be required to get access to federal facilities. To get a Real ID, people must supply proof of legal status, and Real ID driver's licenses will have enhanced features for facial recognition software. Next year, Oregon will have a 2-tier ID system, our regular driver's licenses and a Real ID compliant ID that we'll have to pay extra for. Real ID licenses will be marked with a little star. Department of Homeland Security denies that Real ID creates a national database. They can say that because data is outsourced to the IDEMIA Corporation. IDEMIA will handle Oregon driver's licenses and licenses for 42 states. IDEMIA is an international company that handles identity records in 180 countries, including the national ID system for India and others. It is a contractor for parts of China's national security surveillance system. As well as handling DMV photos, IDEMIA provides facial recognition software for law enforcement. Real ID is a national ID. This year it was revealed that ICE has been doing mass facial recognition on some state driver's license databases. The consolidation of biometrics into a national database will give law enforcement a target for mass surveillance. Facial recognition software uses statistical models to match images to known people. The main problems with facial recognition are racial bias, and when used with mass surveillance, they put everyone in a continual police lineup. Facial recognition is racially biased because the images often have been trained on images of white men. So facial recognition fails at a higher rate for black people. Portland City Council will have a work session on surveillance and facial recognition on September 17th. Commissioner Hardesty's office is working on an ordinance to ban facial recognition software. A police state is one that has unrestricted police power. There are undercover ICE agents in Portland and around the country. A leaked ICE Undercover Operations Handbook gives undercover agents guidelines on how to obtain approval to break federal laws, create false identities, infiltrate religious, political, and media organizations, insert false records into government databases, direct the profits from undercover operations into secret budgets, and to run shell corporations. These are secret police. The NSA provides mass surveillance to domestic law enforcement. More than 80,000 people are held in internment and concentration camps, including more than 11,000 children. Over 2 million people are incarcerated in federal and state prisons. This is our turnkey police state. Secret police, mass surveillance, a national ID system with border and travel controls, mass incarceration, and the political sentiment that in a crisis will turn the political key to lift restrictions on police power. What can we do? Police powers are expanding, especially through new technologies like integrated mass surveillance. You can help by securing your own digital communications. The Information Technology Working Group has provided guidance on secure email and password use. You can avoid real ID and use a passport if you need to travel. If you get a real ID, you make those who can't provide proof of legal status more visible to law enforcement. The police contract is the most important tool the police have for evading accountability. The Portland Police contract expires in June 2020. Support open police contract negotiations by supporting lobbying led by the Albino Ministerial Alliance and Portland Resistance and our own Racial Justice Working Group. There'll be a City Council working session on the contract negotiations on October 1st. Finally, the Information Technology Working Group is working on a digital sanctuary project. The goal is to cut off ICE and JTTF access to local data sources and to restrict mass surveillance technologies such as facial recognition. You can stay informed by listening to a City Council work session on facial recognition on September 17th from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m.